I love the river. It gives you the feeling of peace, it gives you the feeling of strength, it gives you the feeling of patience, and it's been very formative in my life. I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. I had a twin brother whose name was Thomas Daniel Fleming. What I really learned from my mother is the power of prayer. When she passed away in 1944, Tom and I were 11. My father took over not only to help us in every way he could, but to make sure that he followed all of the plans that he and my mother had formed for us. Number one, we were to finish college before we did anything else. After I graduated from Summit Country Day, where I spent kindergarten through senior year, I went to the College of Mount St. Joseph, and I majored in English, and I minored in Latin and the social sciences. My decision to enter religious life, it came in terms of interior feelings that I had from time to time. And while I wanted to go right after high school, my father said, no, why don't you go to Europe first, spend some time there traveling, and I want you to meet all of our Irish relatives. After I returned from Ireland, I talked with my father, and he said, all right, if that's what you really want to do, I'm not going to stand in your way, I'm going to help you. And so I entered the Sisters of Notre Dame September 8th, 1954. When I first entered the convent, I was extraordinarily happy. I was fortunate enough, because I had a degree, to be immediately assigned to Mount Notre Dame Academy to teach. The sisters have a way of giving us, in those days, little white envelopes to tell us where we are going to go next. So in 1960, I got a little white envelope, and it said, you are going to Summit Country Day School to teach Latin. And it was a challenge. In 1967, I became head of the school, and we were having some great success in bringing more students to the campus. I got another envelope in the mail this time. It came from Rome. They wanted me to come to Trinity College and build up the university in terms of enrollment as well as in terms of development. When the time came to come back home, I was glad to come back to Cincinnati. I couldn't believe it. I had just gotten back. I hadn't been back there for 5 minutes. Somebody knocked on my door and said, you have a phone call. I went to the phone, and it was Father Charles Curry. And he said, well, what are you going to do? And I said, Charles, I haven't even unpacked yet. I haven't given it much thought, but I want to teach. I've just been named president of Xavier University. Would you like to teach at Xavier? So I took them up on it, and I've been at Xavier ever since. All of a sudden, we're at 1985, and I get a call from the athletic director, and he said they would like you to set up an academic program for our athletes. Set it up for men's basketball and women's basketball, and from there to take as many of the 18 teams as I could. I'm like, I'm not going to overlook anybody.
She kind of scared me a little bit when I came on my visit, because she kept saying over and over again, you have to earn everything you get. But she was the first person, if I needed help, or any one of my teammates needed help, she was the first person to go to bat for us.
The purpose of my life is to try to help young people make good decisions. I have a passion to make sure that every student athlete who wants to earn a degree at Xavier has the opportunity to earn that degree.
Sister Rose Ann Fleming's secret sauce is that she doesn't think about herself at all. She always thinks about the other person. She's always focused on them, on what they need and what's best for them. A lot of the student athletes she gets close to have never known a person like that, have never known somebody who is for them entirely. And that's why she kind of gets under their skin and into their souls.
Coach Gilling said, listen guys, if I get a call from Sister Rose Ann Fleming that you are not going to class or you're not doing your assignments, I am giving her the power to bench you. And he said, do you hear me? They all sat up, and they looked at me like they were scared to death. And I'm like, this is something. So he said, sister, I want you always to know that academics comes first. And when you call me, that's gold. I'm going to come in here and tell them they are not to play that day. And that was very, very powerful. I only used it once or twice, but you don't have to use that kind of power very, very frequently.
I don't think that we would have graduated 109 seniors in a row if it wouldn't be for Sister Fleming's influence and her expertise.
Congratulations, you're the leadership group.
I don't think, that Xavier from an academic standpoint would be as prestigious, if not for, the culture and the standards that Sister kind of brought and set.
And I want to make sure that in terms of advising them that what we decide they buy into, that they want to do it.
She has a banner hanging up in the Cintas Center. And if that doesn't tell you how special she is and how impactful and how meaningful she is to Xavier, I don't know what will.
She's done so much else in her career. She's been a university president herself. God knows how many degrees she has. She's an attorney, got an MBA, you name it, she's got it. Her help with legal aid and her doing pro bono work as an attorney regularly for all kinds of clients.
Her ability to connect with a wide range of individuals is special. And I know I'm fortunate and extremely blessed to have her in my life. Thank you so much, Sister. I appreciate you.
Living on a college campus has been very good for me. To be young in mind and young in heart is a great gift. For the future, I'm hopeful, that's why I've hung on so long, I think, that I will see Xavier in the Final Four. For Cincinnati, I'd like to make sure that we have a great deal of harmony in the community, that we're caring for one another as well as we can.
It's a big deal, and she doesn't like the spotlight. But a person like Sister Rose Ann Fleming deserves to be held up to the community as a symbol of what makes this town great.
I'm very grateful when I look back at my life for all the blessings I've had and gifts from God that I never expected to get.